said, yes, old scholar back in 2004. Possibly not born yet, maybe, I don't know if that's possible. Yeah, so a while ago, and the main point about all of this is, as you see, the German side of things. I believe you guys still have a choice as to whether or not this is going to go forward, and possibly give you some reasons to use it and go ahead and learn German to use in your careers. Because I do know, coming from here, having gone through firstly learning the German, I went to Germany, of course, with the Austausch. But then you get let out into the big wide world of go, of course, university first, and then go find a job. And you don't actually think or believe, well, what am I supposed to do with this German? You know, we're in an English country. Most of this is going to be in English. So, you know, what am I doing? What am I learning this for? And I just want to show you a few things where you can learn German. It is something that can be an advantage to you, of course, above those that haven't, and maybe give you a reason to put the effort in now while you're at school. It's one of the facts I can let you know. Once you leave school, you are not going to want to do all and above of what you think you should. Actually do what you need to, and all the rest of the time look to enjoy yourself. So while you have the time now, while you are learning, I guess compulsorily, German is one of those topics. I would say make the best of it, learn as much as possible, because you can actually do something cool. So I'm going to go through that all. Please, when if you have questions, I'll stop. It's going to be a little bit more general, of course, than what I've chatted with the tricks and so forth about. Of course, a lot less on the CV, a lot less on getting a job, because you aren't getting a job in the next few years. So we're just going to touch on why you're learning German and possibly the salary levels that accompany with it. And go from there. So I would say the main reasons you're here are either your family is German and they're going, I really want to make sure my child is learning, children are learning German. For the culture, for the family, of course, the Germans have quite a proud heritage and therefore would like it to continue. But other than that, we're at a good private school, the parents still send them here, and it's just one of the subjects you get to learn. But, I mean, am I right? Are you kind of going, what am I doing this for? You know, what am I going to use this for? I speak Zulu at home and I speak English and Afrikaans, and I was offering me a German job. So I'm just kind of here to let you know that it's not just go overseas to Europe and maybe hope that something there is going to work. And it's not just about chatting to the gran at the Christmas parties and stuff, and she's all happy that you now learned her German and things like that. There are actual things that you can make use of it. And there's reasons for it. South Africa, I'm assuming you are all aware of where we are on the map and the globe, the bottom of Africa, but we have the same time zone, same time as Europe does, which is a big thing in the world of business, because means we're working at the same time. At the moment, the Asian world is ending their day. They're about to come to the end of their work day and then they're going to sleep. We have a little bit less interaction with them in the working environment at this point. And at the moment, the American side of the world, of course, we're all waking up and we start sending them emails and going, what are you doing and stuff? Yes, that's how connected we are in the world. We sit here in Cape Town and we speak to people in Asia, in India, in Germany, and in America, just because that's how interconnected these companies are. We need to work together to make sure shoes are made and marketing gets done and all these sorts of fun things. So we have the same time as Europe, and of course we're a lot cheaper than it is to hire somebody in Europe. The euro is a lot better than the rand is. So for one of these companies to open up an office or department here in Cape Town, it means a lot to them. If they can fill it with German or Italian, Spanish, French, Dutch speakers, they most definitely will, because they have to pay 30% less than what they pay people in Europe to get the same job. And we're happy because we're getting 30% more than a South African company would offer us, because it's cheaper and works both ways. So we're winning, they're winning, and therefore, of course, you're using your German. So that's why they are here. The call center industry is one of the industries that is being serviced. We do need a lot of people, of course, in the call center industry. And when they also saw that South Africa was a good place for this, I don't know if you've heard, India is kind of the place where all the call center things go, but unfortunately their English is always great. So the call center industry did a big shift to South Africa because it was still cheap enough, same industry and same sort of time.
Maybe you just explain what a call center is. I'm not
sure. Sure. Look, call center or customer support, I guess, is this sort of thing. As it sort of says, I mean, you probably won't be interacting too much, but your parents, if the internet is down and you're with Telkom, they need to call somebody, say, look, what's going on here? Essentially, you're calling the Telkom call center, they look up your details, and they go, okay, cool, yes, I see you sitting over there, you have this plan, how can we make it work better, or whatever issues you might have. And all these companies have something within the customer service department. This industry is about $10 billion worth, so it's a big number that you need to know. Because they need to make sure that their customers are happy. If you're unhappy with the Nike shoe you're wearing, if you're not happy with the iPhone you're using, these sorts of things, you're not going to buy the next one. You're going to buy Samsung, you're going to buy Adidas. So they need to make sure that what you've just bought, you're happy with. They need to get an interaction with you on that sort of thing. So that's what this customer service industry is about. We bring it up because it's grown. A lot of the foreign language market, I guess, starts through that industry. But all these companies are here. They are looking for a German graphic designer. They're looking for a German marketer, project manager, all the various different things. Also using German, and because you speak German and 90% of South Africa doesn't, you guys are the ones that they're going to be looking for. Already, you're in the top 15, if not 20% of South Africa. You're going to a private school. You get a matric, you're starting life off better than everybody else already is. If you want to throw German into that, you're now in points, I don't know the numbers, but such a small number of people in South Africa that can actually speak German. So it is a positive and advantage you can make use of. And it's something that we're actually seeing recently quite a lot more of, and that had to do with COVID. South Africa is a big tourist destination, so a lot of people will come here just to see the country. Come here and they actually love it. We have a lot of people that want to stay here, especially the German nationality. And in that sense, they need to find a way to also live. You can't just come here. We have laws and regulations. You need a reason to come in and work. And for this, the German companies then actually offer to bring them over, give them the visas, and they can then come and live and work in South Africa and change their life from, I don't know, maybe the stressful Europe that they don't like anymore. Maybe it's more about the nature and the sun and who knows what reasons. But then they come over to Europe, to South Africa. So the issue we've had, of course, in the last 2 years is travel. People can't just fly and when they want. All these people that were then planning to come in 2020, 2021 to move to South Africa had to stop the plans because they weren't allowed to just fly in during COVID. And you also throw in, a lot of them made the decision not to come. They'd rather be in, maybe you want to call it the safe Germany and the system there versus, well, the hospital system in South Africa or what's happening in South Africa with COVID and a pandemic. So they were maybe a bit scared. So a lot less people came across. A lot of the European community, Italian and Spanish and all the other ones as well, actually went home because they felt also, at the moment, I don't know where, do I want to be locked down in South Africa? I have the opportunity to go to Europe, go home. They went home. Either they were locked down there for 2 years and go, well, am I going back to South Africa? Or I don't feel the need or want to. And this is a huge number of what used to be the German speakers in South Africa that filled these roles. Actually aren't here anymore. And a lot of what we do is we do bring them across, but because of this, we can't bring them across to connectivity. So at this point in time, companies are looking for German, Spanish, and so forth speakers with South African residency, with permanent residency. And of course, essentially that is used. We're also actually being looked at above and beyond the mother tongue German speaker, Italian speaker, and so forth, because you have the right to work here. It's a lot easier to hire you. So the main story of this is there is an option. This isn't just another subject that you're getting offered to learn, and yes, it can be, but if you want to make something out of it, it's most definitely something more than just, all right, meeting somebody in Europe when I go overseas there to have my gap here, and I can speak to the German, or maybe get a German girlfriend or boyfriend, or whatever it is. You can actually make a career out of it here, and you'll see soon get paid for it as well. So I would really urge you to make the choice. Of course, I understand you still have to go along the German route, and if you do, make an effort to actually learn it. Look, I was a kid, I was a student here specifically, but I think everybody goes through that. You go to school because your parents say so, because it's the norm, or it's asked of you as a kid. You know, it's the best way for you to get a job, maybe, and to work, move forward in your career. But are you actually giving 100% to every maths lesson, and every geography lesson, and every German lesson? And granted, it might not be your thing. I had a good question come up after the last chat saying, how important is my maths? Do I need to learn maths? And how important is my maths? How important is my English, my German, any of these sorts of things? Essentially, no, you don't need anything to make it. You can make it as if you would want to. I mean, the Bill Gates stories and all these sorts of big stories, they all started in the garage when they were 15. They didn't have matric yet, they didn't have a university degree yet. They were just those people that made it. So you can make it definitely without. It is a lot more difficult. So the easier way is get through your schooling, get through the university, of course, go into the working world. And the point of this is to just say that, look, that German side of things can really put you a leg up. In a world where finding a job is difficult. I mean, what are we all thinking here? We're going to finish school, and I'm most likely thinking university on everybody's cards at the moment. We want to go to university, then we want to do this. Not everybody gets into university firstly, so that plan's out the window. And I can promise you, most people that have just done university are sitting going, well, what am I supposed to do now? Where's this magical job my parents and the teachers have been telling me about that's just going to come fall into my lap? It isn't there. You're going to have to go and work for it, and even after you've worked for it, you're going to keep going and say, no, they're a child, and they haven't learned anything, no experience, they've got a degree, but when have they worked? The biggest issue of getting into the work world is the experience. So if you can get those things, of course, it's always great, but know that it is a very difficult thing to just find a job. And the more you can help yourself, the more attributes you add to yourself that sell yourself, I can guarantee you now the better it is. Because there are more than enough people out there that have a degree. There are more than enough people out there that have exactly the degree you have, the degree you need for that job. So why am I picking you? I'm picking you because you speak another language. I'm picking you because you took an extra course that they didn't take. I'm taking you because you, in your holiday time, maybe in grade 11s and stuff, but when I just left, I went working, even if it was for 3 months, they know you went to a business and you came every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 8 o'clock. They can see you that type of person, or you're the person that's in hours 5 times a week. These all sort of things come into it, and you making the choices now, I promise you, I know we all say it, I was the kid back then, all right, our parents, adults, come on, quiet, I just want to be a kid, I want to carry on playing, I don't want to do extra work, I don't want but you do see that those are the ones that have now put themselves above the others, those are the ones that are getting picked in the world. You're moving up I had it definitely, I guess I was younger in school, so I was always in the age group below, I played with older kids. So you always look at your age group, all right, this year I'm an older age group and I'm playing the younger kids, I'll be better at cricket and rugby. Next year I'm playing with the class above, so they're all bigger than me, and it's not going to go as you get older. Then you turn 19 or 18, we're all in one age group, we're called an adult. You're the baby goldfish in a big shark tank. And nobody really is going to just give you, and I have to do for me, I have to look for my family, I have to help my friend. Why am I doing it for you? You need to do that. I think the sooner you look into that, the better. Didn't quite get into it with the old group, but what I've learned or got from school and university, especially here, do I need maths? I asked. Then you don't specifically need something. You will need to know what 1 + 1 is, definitely. You will need to know how to spell certain things, but you do not need to know how a thunderstorm forms in your geography classes. You don't need to know how to name a specific mountain. If you don't go into that field, you do not need to know how to calculate where the ball's going to land, if this, that, and all these sort of factors. If you're not into physics and science and all these sorts of things. So the specific stuff you're learning is maybe not as important, granted, looking at the bigger picture. But what school and university are teaching you to do is how to learn. Think about this: in grade 8 you learned X, Y, and Z. Then you finished it. And in grade 9 they gave you whole new things to learn. This was based kind of on the last thing. But it's new information. And essentially you're teaching yourself that if I come every morning at 8 o'clock, if I apply myself, I can gain that. It's the same thing you're going to be doing at work. You need to rock up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you put all these things together over a year, your company makes money. It's a different sort of thing. Your goal is to get past a grade now. The next goal is to, of course, make money. And you get into university, they start teaching you something totally different. You go, why did I spend all that time learning that? 12 years, I hadn't looked at that word that we learned in biology or whatever for so long. And that is the conundrum or the difference. They just need to see that you can be given a new subject, you learn how to do it. University, 3 years, there's your degree. All right, I know you're a competent individual, that if I give you this task to do in this week, you will most likely understand it and get it sorted. So how you approach your school career does have an effect on where you're going. The more you put in now, most definitely will come out in the end. I can add to that, of course, the German. Look, I'm going to mention it. I'm white. I didn't. White guys, learn Zulu or Xhosa, one of our languages, please, because we need to converse with each other. If I can't understand why they are doing this and he's doing this, and they can't explain it to me in my language, I can't look at them and say, well, God, you don't learn English. I didn't learn Zulu either. So how am I supposed to blame and look at them or something? So all of these languages. In English, as we see, I don't know you guys, but we can connect on something because we speak English. If you guys are all from Germany, yeah, English is the world's language, but you wouldn't get most, you wouldn't understand this. So the fact that I could converse with all this in German means I can get my message across to other people. And it's the same on Zulus and Xhosas and any other language you might want to learn. There's more than just, I can speak to my mom because she told me how to speak English. It's actually going to be a tool and a skill you're going to use, like learning how to do graphic design, like learning how to do Facebook marketing, all these sorts of things. It is a skill if you see it like that. All right, so there is opportunity, but you do need to make sure you are actually learning it. It isn't just that is one of the big issues. It's one of the reasons I've now come and done this. I'm in the recruiting world. My job is to help companies find candidates. So let's say we've got a graphic designer and a graphic designer and a graphic designer. My company's file on one that has this and this list, and I find your CV online, you guys have applied for a job, and then I essentially go and say, how about this lady, how about that one next to you? And that's one of the ways you can get a job. So I'm doing this, and we're hiring a lot of foreign language speakers, we're hiring a lot of Germans. And so I'm headhunting, and I'm looking at our CVs, and then I get, you guys, of course, you've left school, you've gone to university, and you're right there. Where did you go to school? Deutsche Schule Hamilton. What are the languages you can speak? German. So I go, okay, let's call this person up. And I promise you, 90% of the conversations I have, people that went to DSH, DSJ, DSK, DHS, the last time they spoke German was in their German class. I haven't used it. Of course, it's difficult to use it in our South African world. If you're not in a German family, if you're not having German friends, all these sorts of things. The big thing that made it for me was when I went into the working world and worked in Germany for a year. That's when it sunk in. That's when German became a norm for me. So you are needing those experiences. Lost the train of thought there, but you do need to get to a certain level. It's not just about you having come to this German school. You need to speak it, just like you speak Zulu, Xhosa, or English at a certain level. It's that level you're going to go. It's like passing a maths test, or a geography test, or whichever. there is a certain level you need to have learned, otherwise you can't do it. You can't say, well, I've learned it, then pass the test. And that's kind of the same thing. So not just I've heard of German and I can maybe understand what you're saying. You need to really be able to converse in German. At best, of course, write it as well. But it does need to get to what we call a B2 level, which is the intermediate level of German. A beginner would be starting at A1 and A2. Some of the companies are open to this sort of level, most likely not because the written isn't as great. You can converse over the phone and so forth, so talking is okay, but you do want to get to a B2 at least level. C1s and C2s, of course, mother tongue, if you're born German, you'll have C2 level. C1, if you're English like myself and have learned German, you generally get up to a C1 level. It's difficult to now say I'm mother tongue because there are English notes inside there. So, but you need to apply yourself. It's about now in the next few years. You're going to have all of the grammar, you're going to have all of the theory and all of these, unfortunately, a little bit boring things which are part of German. But it's, as I've just shown, it does make sense. There are opportunities there, and if you apply yourself to get to these levels, then you'll see in the next slide that this is a good opportunity. So, look, here at school, you've got your theory, they're going to teach you all the rules, they're going to do all that stuff. But if you don't use it in your life, it won't get fixed in that your brain says this is important. You go, that's just something I've learned, cool, it's parked on the side. I'm more interested in Facebook marketing, YouTube, whatever it is. And that's where your brain's going to start going, putting German to the side until you're 23, and you go, oh yes, German, I can do that. But can you? You need to make sure you can. And so I said theory here, try and watch German TV, German movies or something. That's the best way, because they have to make sure the German in that is proper. Hochdeutsch, as they say, High German. And constantly hearing that will assist your brain in making those connections. Yes, the other part of solidifying it is speaking it, where you actually try and make mistakes. Your brain needs to make a mistake for yourself so that you learn. If you listen to somebody else speak German, make a mistake. Generally, of course, we have the haha, they made a mistake, granted. But you can hear that they've made a mistake, that your brain will not have made it your problem because it wasn't your problem. It was their problem. You heard it was their problem, and well, I understood it, so I understand it. This brain thought, understand process, until we actually do and give action. You don't prove to yourself, this is German, this is everything, ride a bike. You don't prove to yourself that you can do it. Essentially, it's just theory then. There is no practice. If you can't do it in the world, no one is unfortunately going to hire you to do it. You're not here to talk about stuff, you're talking about doing things. So speak as much as possible, I guess, amongst your friends. If you're in a German family, whenever you're with your grand, make sure you rather speak German than them. Of course, if it isn't in your family and culture, try with your friends. And I would say the best thing to do is the YouTube or the videos you're watching. Every single thing you can see in English, you can see in German. You can have a subtitle to it. I'm not saying everything you watch now in German, but make it a task of one of the programs I'm going to watch every week is in German. It just consistently keeps things going. That animal documentary that you want to watch, or the new information on SpaceX or something like that. The Germans also need to hear about it. Somebody's translated it into German. It is there, but you need to make a choice to look for it so that you can carry on learning. Because of course, the reading books, unless you're a bookworm, that's a difficult way to explore these things. All right, so it's how you look at your next. I know we're young, we're 8 and 9, and we're enjoying being children, which we most definitely need to please still do. You're going to grow up quickly enough. But when you look at your schoolwork and what you're taking in, make sure you're applying yourself, because it does make a difference. Are they 20s and 30s and stuff? And here's the fun slides. What I'm going to do with all of this is the money. Leaving school, like I've said, it's going to be difficult for you. Most of you most likely will think, at university, that I'm going to do this, but unfortunately, I must say you have a little bit of a bubble view on the world. It's not going to be easy. There isn't a job waiting for everybody that finished university. There isn't a job waiting for everybody that finished contract. You have to now go and prove that you're better than the other 50 people that are coming from your university. They don't mind the 7 other universities in South Africa. That's how many people are looking for the same job you're looking for. So if you don't apply, you'll, I guess, start finding yourself at a certain level. So yeah, we got one. Look, minimum wage I always like to put up there because it gives you the boundaries. You most likely are not going to be shooting for minimum wage. These are your farm laborers, these are your domestic workers and all these sorts of things. So that's, I guess, the base minimum that you want to be looking at. But what we're actually looking at is at least entry level, of course, the green one, entry foreign language. Look at the difference between that and one of the other entries. And that's just, I know how to use Word and the internet, and I can speak German. Not I've got a degree, not I've gone to university. You can speak German, you can get entry foreign language 16,000 rand a month. Compared to minimum wage, it's 4 it's nothing. Compared to an English speaker, entry level, it's the same job, but you're getting 10,000 rand more just because you can speak German than English. Doing the same job in German, you're doing the same job in English. That's all it is. And all it means is you have to listen in the German class. It means you have to do a bit more German homework or watch the German video so that I do understand it. I am somebody that has actually learned German at school. And then when Colin gives you a call, yes, sir, I placed somebody in 5 days 2 weeks ago. They finished the trip in German school last year, didn't get into university this year. There are a whole lot of them because university is certain numbers you can't. What do I do if I don't get into university? Oh, I'll go and gap year. Who's paying for the gap year? Where are you living at home? Who's paying for all these sorts of things? It gets quite a bit. Oh, I'll go work. Right, now you're going to go find a job, and all you have is matric, and maybe all you have is English. It gets quite difficult out there when, I don't know, 30% of South Africa doesn't have jobs, they all speak English, they all have matrics. Why are you different? You need to show them why you're different. And one of the easier ways you can do, you're getting it for free, it's just another language subject you're getting here, is German. So, like you're doing the maths, like you're doing the English and stuff, do the German in a similar way because it can also be one of those things that you can look down in the career. All right, so it's quite an easy way to get in. I mean, I'm not going to get too much on that, but at about 12,000 rand, maybe to 15,000 rand, is where our general living is sitting at. I want data on my cell phone, smartphone, I want to have a computer, I want to make sure I have food at home regularly that is good enough, I'm not eating minute meals every night to possibly puff. That sort of stuff. You're going to need at least 12,000 to 15,000 rand a month. Just for you, not for the family. Your mom's also doing that, your dad's also doing that. And that's what we're going to be doing. And it just is a little bit easier if you have more of these skills and all those things going on. German can be a very easy thing, just like you speak English. It just happens. You don't have to think about it. You just need to get to that stage where it just happens on the German side. You can most definitely make use of that. CVs I'm not going to go into too hectically right now. How to write a CV, but when you do get to writing your CV, again, it's the advertising side of things. You're now not advertising your Nike shoe, or you're not advertising your Starbucks coffee or Netflix series, you're advertising you. My piece of paper that says, I went to this school, I've studied this, I've got this experience. Make sure it's right, it's not just this little Word document you put together. Make sure that it is actually selling you to the best of your ability. And I mean, on that, one of the most important things, again, on how you're learning German, I'm not going to go too much into there. How you're learning German now and applying it is similar to also what you're going to be doing from here. I leave school, I leave university. Does that mean I'm finished studying? Yes? No? We all want to get finished with school. That is one of the things we're all looking forward to at the trip. And of course you go, well, yeah, I'll do 3 years of university. It is, I have to learn all this stuff. There are people caring a bit less if you don't go to university classes. Nobody checks if you were there. They're taking your money. You're not learning anything. They don't care. You need to go and make the choice to go by yourself. But continuous learning right at the bottom of your guys. Once you finish the school, once you finish the degree, go do the next course. go find more about this. There are things that you don't learn just in a university or a school environment. You need to go online and do it yourself. And because of the online side of things, it's very easy. You don't have to go to Cape Town to UCT. You don't have to go to Joburg to UJ or even UKZ. You can sit in the middle of nowhere and have internet and become sort of more skilled and better at what you're doing. And again, like I say, there are enough, millions, not a couple of people, millions of people have a matric, have a degree. Why are you different? You need to show these sorts of things. And that's about applying yourself. Now at school, into universities. Something I guess that came up, do I need, again, maths? Do I need universities? You don't need anything. You can make your world the way you want to make it, how you want to use it and do it. Those things do help, but it is very much how you apply yourself. And coming directly out of matric, you might not have the means to go on a gap year, you might not have the means to study, even doing an online course. I'm quite sure your parents would be happy for you to leave the house and not have to pay for a bit more. It costs a lot. So if you can offer them and say, look, I'm going to work with the German, because that means when I'm 19, I can earn 16,000 rand a month and go get my own apartment in Cape Town, Johannesburg, go live the life that I thought I really want to. You can easily do it with your German, versus if you're jumping into the entry level on the English side of things, well, now you're doing a bit of the world's life struggle. How much money do I use? How much do I spend? Do I have enough? Can I go and see the Sharks play? Can I go and see South Africa do this or whichever concert? You don't have money. Sit at home. If you're lucky, if you pay for your internet allowance, you can watch Netflix. And that's all coming with how you apply these sorts of things. I think these are all more on that side of stuff. Does anybody have a question now?
Facebook, or going to social media?
Yeah, how we find you and things like this. Look, social media, of course, is huge nowadays because it's free. Any company loves social media. It's a monster in itself because everybody's on it. And how do I get your eyes to see what I want you to see and stuff? The most important thing, if you see my advert, maybe you buy my Nike shoe. If you don't, I'm buying Adidas today. So Facebook is something that we use tremendously because it is free. We can access it, everybody is involved with it, and therefore I can of course find you. Facebook is the social media, though it's based more around other things, not finding jobs. LinkedIn is essentially that sort of thing for professionals. So when you're getting older, you'll start getting a LinkedIn profile, just like you would have a Facebook or a Twitter account. And that's one of those things where we would be looking for you. So finding a job, you're looking online, I want to do doctor, I want to do this, and I want to do that. Which companies are hiring? You would be sending off your advert, your CV. This is me, have a look, kind of thing. But if we're not finding you, then we would, of course, go headhunting through these sorts of portals to try and find you.
So if I applied for a job, would you go to my social media to
Yes, so that's where we're going. And there's another thing, what is on your social media? You sent me your CV, you wrote your CV with bias. I'm amazing, I can do everything, all right, so how much of this can I believe? We need to check it. So how do we check it? We call your old boss and say, all right, Colin, does he work? He says he works, he says he's amazing. Yeah, no, not so much. We don't hire him because you aren't really what you think you say you are. And another thing of that is your Facebook profile or your social media profile. Because I can access you like this. Yes, you change your names, sometimes you can hide. But if you're on the internet, it's very difficult to hide. And so make sure what is on your Facebook and these sorts of profiles is appropriate. Everybody's going to be different. You're all going to use it for different things. You might be a social media influencer, and therefore doing all of these things on social media is your job. But do watch out, because that party you had last week Friday with all your friends with alcohol. I see that too. And if all of your pictures are based around I don't believe so. And whenever we're talking to you on the phone, you're selling yourself. So you're saying all the amazing things that I want to hear. We need to verify these things, and that gets done with background checks, it's done with social media checks, these sorts of things to make sure that you're actually saying what you're doing. That is your life. So keep an eye on it. It is your home, it's your profile, it is who you are. But make sure that that is the person you're putting out to the world and isn't in line with maybe the working standards that can be a reason why you don't get a job. So just think about that. All right, guys, so I think that was the time. Of course, we didn't go fully into it like with the metrics and stuff based on what are you going to do next year, how do you write a CV, where do you look for jobs and stuff. We're here to get in touch with the teachers and so forth whenever you are ready. But the point of this was German can be something, guys, and it's that much more that you're in them minorities of 1 to 3% of people looking for those jobs, and you can get 30 to 40% more money for doing the job. So why not? Right now, it's not as if you have to make any real extra effort to do so. You have a German class, you go to German class, you pass German class. You still German. So put the effort in and I can make sure it will pay out. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Walsh, for being with us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and experiences. It was highly appreciated. Thank you very much.
I am still available.